What's up, everybody? This is Ahmed,
And Luffy.
and this is the Brotherly Love podcast. What the hell is this?
So I found this commercial, this Japanese commercial.
Is it for like abs?
It's for this machine.
Where do you find these things?
Gotcha.
What? This is low-key an intricate ad. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's good, right?
yeah, I can't lie. Bro. What? That makes no sense.
The demon.
The demon.
Yeah. All right, so
Bro, what?
for those who didn't see, that was a
I'll put this on the video.
it's
but
a Wonder Core ad. It's a Japanese ad.
Hold
Hold on. Let me show you.
That should be sampled.
What?
Just that Wonder Car.
Nah, hold
Just
on.
put it in a beat.
This one's a little longer.
そう
もっと長く見てたいな。
What is that?
I don't know if you have the patience. It's 6 minutes.
I'm not gonna watch the entire thing, but
But
this is
it's a novel though. Like you have to watch it in sequence. That's the thing.
the entire thing.
Yeah, bro. The whole thing is like one commercial. Like
Oh my god.
it self-references itself and stuff like that.
Jeez.
Yeah, this one's pretty good too. It's about 5 minutes long. I'm not. I mean, we don't have to watch. You know. What I'm saying?
I don't want to watch it for that long.
No,
but-
we're not going to.
出先で避ける組のマンゴー見つけたバイク便で送ったから
俺から目なの
すごいタイミング。
Anshan.
Mande bayo. Nani?
Yeah, no, they literally say Nani in this joint.
届いたよ。
Yeah,
ありがとう。
Japanese. Yeah, no.
See, like, that's what I'm saying.
Nani?
It's just a whole bunch of these. You know what I'm saying? Like they just play off of each other. Like they know what they're doing with their commercials, man.
No, I think Japanese commercials are like the most like creative and innovative commercials because like each one is unique in its own way and it really intrigues you. Like that the Abcore one you were just playing, like I now want to kind of get one. Like that was
Wonder
really
Core?
intriguing. Yeah, Wonder Core. How many Wonder Core?
Yeah, like
I'm
that's-
telling you, bro, that should be a sample. That would be a dope sample.
See, like people think you need like over the top this, that, and whatever. Like sometimes like the most effective advertising is like, you know, what is it? 877 cash now, or it's like this Wonder Core thing, or like it could be something small and just gets into your head. You know, it's
something
like,
that's just repetitive.
yeah, like Wonder Core.
Yeah, no, it's just stuck in my head the entire day.
Yeah, now
That's
you want
the-
a Wonder Core, like
Yeah. No, I definitely can see that. I'm in a advertising class as we speak. Yes, I'm gripping it like this, like I'm in an advertising class as we speak, and one thing I've noticed that we're talking about is having like omni channels. So omni channels is having your brand in multiple ways that can be purchased, whether it be online, whether it be in store, you know, anywhere really. They can really just access you anywhere. But it's because it's so repetitive and you see it everywhere that you're just like, okay, might as well just buy it at least once. Honestly, advertising and marketing is just like psychological manipulation.
yeah,
It's crazy.
like JG Wentworth, like
What's that again?
called JG Wentworth.
Wentworth.
877 cash now.
I thought
877 cash now.
877
cash now.
I was thinking of We Are Farmers. Bum 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 bum. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I can't remember one farmers commercial, but I know that slogan.
I know that slogan.
I know that little jingle and tune. I know they sell insurance.
Yeah.
You know.
What's your favorite?
What, commercial?
Commercial or jingle?
I mean, McDonald's is a classic. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a classic. But
yeah.
My favorite commercial jingle or tune. I'm trying to think. There's been a lot of good commercials over the years, to be honest. Like,
I know there's one 99588 and 5 today. Yeah. I don't know the actual numbers, but I remember that. It was like some company that does like carpeting.
Oh, I know.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
It's like that was Puritan cleaners or something.
Yeah.
That's Protestant cleaners.
Yeah, why are they so like emphasis on the religion? Puritan cleaners.
Because it's pure.
Ain't nothing pure about that.
You know which one I like? I like the one that's like, in the eyes of
oh my God.
rain.
The dog one?
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Where they're like, for just 25 cents a day, you can help support a village in Africa.
A
whole village?
It be getting you so gullible. Not gullible.
They'd be like,
yeah,
we only need 52 cents every 8 days, and we can support 13.2 children in our village.
What the point two? A leg? No, not gullible. It gets you just so like drawn in. It makes you feel bad. You're just like, damn, I want to help out. And then eventually you do. But
you do? Have you ever donated to one of those things?
Not necessarily those.
I don't think I've ever donated to a charity I've seen on TV.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've donated to charity, but not on
I hope so.
TV. I hope so. No, but I've never, done one that was
you seen on TV.
On TV, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've never even done the ones. What was it? The the shoes like Tom something.
Oh, Tom's shoes.
Yeah. I think they got exposed that the money that they were using of saying like, oh, when you buy a shoe, you give a shoe to a kid in Africa. That was fake.
Really?
Apparently, yeah. Like they weren't giving all the money to the proceeds of people that needed shoes in Africa, which I think is not necessarily hilarious, but kind of weird because I was like, I don't think shoes are the thing they need in developing countries in Africa. Like I think what they need is food, they need water, they need necessities. I understand
Isn't shoes necessities too?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying yes, but in terms of a priority list, shoes wouldn't be number one in my opinion. That's all.
I don't think that's fine. I mean, I don't think that's fair.
I don't think that's fine at all.
I don't think that's fair, like a fair criticism necessarily, because that's kind of like judging how other people help. You know what I'm saying? Like in a certain way.
That's fair.
Where at the end of the day, like if they're still doing mad good, then like, why do you care if it's not 100% effective? It's still 80% effective. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like for real, like shoes and having shoes is a big problem because like if you're constantly walking around barefoot, you can cut your foot. And like, yeah, your foot does get stronger and like that. That's how they're able to walk around on. It doesn't hurt them. But like to a certain extent, that's like the same argument as like, yo, if you constantly live in filth, then like your body will naturally have the
resistance.
Yeah, the resistance or whatever against the diseases and bacteria that exist in filth. Where instead it's like, yeah, maybe they should put something on their feet, however small, because say something cuts them and then they get an infection, and now where are they going to get access to healthcare?
That's
you know
true.
what I'm saying?
No,
Because you in some village 300 miles away.
No, yeah, I think it is still a necessity. Like, don't get me wrong. I think wearing shoes.
I mean, you're not going to die. You know, it's not like
but
water.
It's still a necessity. But that's why I was saying, like, in terms of a priority list, I'm not judging Toms for giving shoes. I still think that's a helpful thing. But if I ever had a charity, you know what I'm saying, me giving shoes, I guess it would cross my mind. But I'm like, okay, there's obviously some other things that we could attack as well. So that's really it. Nothing too crazy, but
how do you feel about, like, we might have talked about this before, like people looking in other people's pockets in terms of not just like how much money you got, but how much money you give, you know? So a lot of times
I think we had a conversation about it, but I don't think we talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I didn't know if we had talked about it like on this podcast. I know we have talked about it probably before, but
yeah.
How do you feel about, when When Jack Dorsey or Jeff Bezos or Elon or whoever donates millions of dollars, people are like, that's only 0.013% of your net worth. That's the same as me giving 17 cents.
No, that was actually very similar. What's his name? Virgil Abloh, the person who makes Off-White. Yeah, Virgil, who makes Off-White.
Oh, first name basis, bro. Kanye, Virgil.
That's it.
Beyonce, Jay.
The person who makes
Luffy.
Off-Whites. Shut up. No, it's not going to become a thing. Luffy.
Why would it not?
What was your full name? Something Santiago. Yeah.
Jameson
Santiago. Some whack name.
Alias.
Whack name. No. This was. I think this is when George Floyd passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Virgil donated $50 or something like that to, I think, a donation fund or some charity.
Mm-hmm.
And then word came out that he donated $50. So then Twitter blows the hell up. Everyone's like, $50? 50, bro, you make millions. $50? What are you doing? You know, and like, I think that's literally the most like wrong way to tell somebody, oh, you should be paying more because you have more money. The fact that they were considering and were considerate to contribute money in general, you know what I'm saying? Like a small amount always matters or whatever it is. The fact that he decided to do that and had it from his heart. He was like, I'm going to donate this much money. Like, he's doing his part. It doesn't matter how much money he has. You know, now I understand the other side where it's like, yo, if you have so much money, why don't you help out? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, you aren't them. You don't know how much they're willing to invest. Now, granted, there's a bunch of people who have those funds and those resources who are more than willing to help out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of celebrities do that all the time. But if at that time he saw it as, this is how much I want to invest into, then he shouldn't be bashed on. You know what I'm saying? Like, he still invested money into what was going on.
Dang, I was just thinking about something. I completely forgot it. Like, I blanked. It was crazy, though. It was, here it goes.
Okay.
How do you feel about the fact that conservatives give more to charity than liberals?
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
People who's, I mean, I want to talk about it because we're talking about, like, this is a thing on social media, right? People on social media are going in at these, like, really wealthy people. Now, social media in and of itself isn't liberal, but the social media platforms definitely are liberal leaning. Do you think this bashing of these people comes from conservatives or liberals online? My assumption was liberals, right, are the ones who are bashing Jack Dorsey and Jeff Bezos and whoever else, you know, with billions who's donating millions, right? And it's just interesting to me that at the same time that that's happening, conservative states, so quote unquote, those flyover states, the dumb states, the states with people who believe in God, they're the ones who give more money on a per capita basis than liberal states. So a place like Oklahoma, they might give a higher percentage of their income to charity than a place like San Francisco or California, where people are assumed to be a lot wealthier. And I think part of it stems from, or not part of it, or a good portion of it stems from the why behind how you reach your political ideology. If you believe that the society should help the individual, you more likely lean towards liberalism, right? And in that sense, you may believe that charity should be a function of the society, right? Responsibility of the society to the individual. Where maybe if you were on the conservative end of things and you fell more in line with the ideas of personal responsibility and individual responsibility to the self, you would look at it, charity, as more so an individual responsibility to the individual rather than a societal responsibility to the individual. Meaning, in a place like California, it can be assumed that you're homeless. It's like we have social programs to help you. In Oklahoma, it's like you're homeless. I'm gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? And there's a difference there, and I don't know if it comes or it runs adjacent to or whatever, but to their political ideologies. And I think there is a correlation, a deep correlation that fundamentally stems from what you believe about the role of government in a society, you know, and an individual within the society. Now we can also talk about the God part and the religion part, because all three of the major religions mandate that you give.
Yeah, that you give to charity.
They mandate that you give. And America does not have a giving problem. We're actually one of the most generous countries in the whole world. You know, like on a per capita basis, and I'm not talking about just dollar amounts, I'm talking percentage of income. Americans give a lot more than other countries. America's also a lot more religious than other countries. What do you think?
That was a very long question.
I know.
But hold on. So can you reiterate the question again?
Yeah, like these people who are going on social media and like bashing people for giving, right? Not for giving, but for space giving, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, where does this come from? Basically, I'm trying to figure out, like, where does this, I guess, come from? Is it the toxic elements of what?
Came off.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, you can hold it with the other hand.
Yeah, just screw it. Continue.
Do you think it's like some of the toxic elements of, like it's an example of a toxic result of extreme embeddedness in liberalism? I'm not trying to paint being liberal as causing, just like I'm not trying to paint conservative as good. I'm just saying, like, do you think this is one of those unintended, almost like an unintended consequence of believing in a certain ideology or a way of life or how the world is?
I would say it's possible, but at the same time, it's like I see both sides. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think all liberals are on the ideology of, you know, oh, they have more money, then they should be investing more into the people, or, you know, whatever it is. What's crazy is that I know a lot of people who are liberal who do give out, you know, as much money as, you know, conservatives as well.
Yes.
But I guess in terms of what you're saying is like, is it like an unfortunate, quote unquote, toxic trait that most liberals have, where they have the kind of mindset where, it's like the progressive tax system, where it's like, you know, the more money you earn, the more taxes you get deducted from you. And I guess in a similar fashion, it's like the more money you earn, you should give out more money, you know, which I like, you know, logically it makes sense. You know, I understand that completely. It's like what was that tower in Europe that burned down? Do you know what I'm talking about? It was like a
Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame, and it burned down.
It didn't burn down; it just caught on fire.
Yeah, it caught on fire. And in a matter of like a week, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of like already paid for. Everything was paid for, and everybody was like showing kind of the amount of income certain people had when they were investing into the rebuilding of Notre Dame, and everyone was like, "Bro, do you guys understand if y'all only gave like 1% or like maybe less than that of your income, you guys would be able to solve certain problems, whether it be world hunger or poverty or homelessness in America, you know." And from that perspective, I can't do anything but agree. You know, I'm like, that makes complete sense. You know what I'm saying? Like with their money, we could solve a lot of things, you know, but unfortunately, we have no power over those people and their decisions. You know what I'm saying? They choose from the kindness of their heart. They choose from their motto of life. You know what I'm saying? We're not those people. So yeah, I guess it could be seen as a toxic trait only if you have the mindset of, oh, the rich should be paying for it, not me. You know, that's when it becomes toxic. But it could also be where majority of people, where I think, are like, damn, you know, like these people who are rich be paying charity more and da da da, but also like I'm still gonna do my part. Yeah.
I'm with you. Just the first part of that conclusion is like, that's the part where I'm kind of iffy, because if someone has money, I don't think you have any right to tell them how to spend it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they want to spend all their money on cocaine and prostitutes, that's their prerogative. You know, whether I personally agree with it or not, I'm not going to say like, yo, they should have gave this money to fighting poverty or creating internet apps access in rural areas or whatever. Like, what they're doing with their money is what they're doing with their money. Right now, what we do with our money is a different discussion. I mean, we as in the society, you know, and you talked about like the tax system and, you know, rich people should pay a higher percentage of taxes. I mean, and I'm not arguing for a flat tax. I'm not trying to make those arguments about tax structures and systems. I'm just saying that if you make $1 million and you're paying the same tax rate as someone who makes $50,000, you're still paying more in taxes. You know, you don't need a progressive tax structure to pay more taxes, right? Like, or income taxes. And I think that's part of the other issue too, right? Is there's a huge conflation that happens between income and wealth, right? Where people mistake one for the other. We look at Bill Gates' net wealth and then say, if I was making this much money, and that's not what's happening. Yeah. He never made that much money.
that's just his net worth. That's what I was going to say worth, as well.
Yeah.
That it's like, that's what I was saying. I understand both perspectives of, even if it is the most toxic thing where everyone's like, they should be da-da-da-da-da, because it makes sense. But also at the same time, I agree where it's like, yo, I have no right. Although my mental and my purpose and my truth might align with, let me help out the community, let me help out any kind of way I can. Someone else is like, I'm about to fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. You know, everyone's life is different. So should we like force other people to believe in our ideology? You know what I'm saying? That's similar to the Crusades in a way. You know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like religion plays such a big part, not only in our day-to-day lives, but economically. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and one thing I've learned from the Quran is like, you never are supposed to push your ideas or your religion on anybody else. Unfortunately, that's happened in the past. You know what I'm saying? Don't listen. But like, that's how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not supposed to tell people what to do with their own money, what to do with their own lives, how to treat certain things. Like, people do their own thing, you know? So, yeah.
So, I mean, let's take a religious kind of angle to it. Like, Islam mandates that you give, right, to charity, and through different ways. Like, in some verses, you know, it speaks of almost like an income tax, right? Give 20% of the profits that you receive. In other verses, it kind of alludes to like a wealth tax. You know what I'm saying? And like, that's kind of more what I fall in line with. Like, I believe like income tax for me at least, like, is like, I don't get why we tax people's income necessarily.
I don't either. Like,
I think we should tax the amount of money that people hold, so like that they're not incentivized to hold massive amounts of wealth. So if you have, you know, and people are like, what, like, why don't you want personal wealth? Well, it's because I believe in social wealth, so that you have to spend your money to make
You're
someone
a socialist. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm a socialist through capitalism.
No. I was just messing around with you. I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you call me a socialist, because I guarantee you that majority of people watching this probably think I'm conservative.
Like, yeah, just from your ideas and stuff.
Yeah, but I'm not. Like, I'm not conservative. Like, I would never call myself a conservative, but I'd also never call myself a liberal. Like, you know, like, it's not for me. We've talked about this before. Like, I'm not one to necessarily like give myself those titles,
labels.
because
you're a millennial.
Well, because then I have to address everything that those labels do, as opposed to you having to address me for my beliefs.
I feel you.
But regardless, like, I personally believe like it should just be a wealth tax, right? So it's like we know that you have this much wealth, or we calculated your wealth to be this. Here's your one tax. There's no sales tax. There's no income tax. Pay 2% of your, you have a $500,000, you know, or you have $1 million, pay $20,000 every year for the wealth that you own, you know? And then and I don't know if this amounts to enough money. I don't really care, but to me, like, it's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not in practice, you know, to calculate someone's wealth and like, how do you determine the value of land and stuff? And there's books that people can read that talk about these subjects, like Capital in the 21st Century. One of the main books that push this idea of a wealth tax to the forefront of like political economic discussion today. And that's why people like Elizabeth Warren and a few other people who were running were like kind of in favor of like, oh, we got to do a wealth tax. You know, that's so people can dive into that book if they're interested. It's called Capital in the 21st Century. I don't agree with everything that he, you know, kind of concluded in that book, but one of the things that I believe is like the idea of, if it's possible, you know, tax people for how much money they hoard, you know, instead of how much money they make. Because why do I care how much money you make? You know what I'm saying?
Like, yeah, I never fully understood. It's crazy because I'm in accounting class right now, and we're learning about taxes and taxation. And it was like, there's income tax, there's state tax,
there's a million taxes.
There's so many taxes.
Yeah.
And I was looking at income tax, and I was like, so you're taxing me because I'm making money.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. See, like, in my mind, like, all taxes, fees, whatever, like, all of that's incentive. It's economic incentive. It incentivizes you to do some things and to not do other things. So if we put a dollar amount on this, the X amount of people are more likely to do this, and we can sway behavior, consumer behavior, in a sense, you know, and you can almost be like a puppeteer, like in the economy, like, you know, the role of the Fed, for instance. But
watch out for the Feds.
Right. Fuck the Feds, yo. It's funny because we have the Federal Reserve Bank right here. Yeah, we have one here in Richmond. There's only like 8, 10, 12, something like that of them. So in America, with the Fed, we have one here. But yeah, you know, like the I guess the idea for me of like, yeah, like, yo, you made $100 million this year. It's like, okay, why am I gonna take $50 million as the government? Yeah. You know, where it's like, why don't you spend all that you want to spend, whatever it is that you saved by the end of the year? Like, you know, we're gonna tax that, and it's fine. It's like, we're not gonna tax it out that. It's like, you could take all that money and you could buy a $100 million whatever, you know, mansion. We're only gonna tax it, and if it's paid off, you know, we're only gonna tax it at, you know, 1-2% or whatever, as opposed to. And then here's the thing is like, but it gets taxed every year. Yeah. So that's, to me, that's the long term, how you people are like, bro, this goes against generational wealth. And I'm like, that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to kind of force it so that within a few years, because if you're taxing 2% every year on the value of something, the net value of something, within a certain number of years, like, there's not going to be any value left to tax if you use just that as your cost basis, meaning that you can't 100% rely on the successes of your forefathers for your success today under a wealth tax.
I like that.
In my mind. I mean, I just thought of this right now as we're talking. I don't know. All right. Like, if anyone's listening, I don't know. Don't listen to me. All right.
It's so funny.
But it was a nice thought that was swirling around in my head. Yeah. So I said it. But don't listen to me. I'm an idiot.
No. Yeah. I completely understand that. It's so funny. Sometimes I'll just be doing something and someone will mention the podcast, and I'll be so shocked because I'm like, you listen to the podcast? And they're like, yeah, like, I listened to like all the episodes. I was at a meeting yesterday, and someone, she was like, I have a bone to pick with you. And I was like, why, what's up? And she's like, you said on one of your episodes, she's like, I'm not sure if it was you or Luffy, but you said how girls don't hold themselves accountable. They have no accountability. I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, I don't
just own that.
No, I was like, yeah, like that's how I believe.
I said that.
I was like, I believe that. And she's like, no, like I think that girls actually do hold themselves accountable, like they move with such a purpose, whatever it is. I was like, I said with women 100%. You know what I'm saying? I think women 100% like they hold themselves accountable, but girls, nah, not at all. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of taught of they're the princess, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. It was just interesting to see that people in my life that I know like listen to my podcast and I didn't even know until I had that conversation. It's so crazy sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, when we sit here and we're talking, like we're talking to each other, so we expect other people, as in like I expect you to be listening to my conversation, right? And you expect me to be listening. Like when we're talking, we don't always connect the dots that we're literally creating an environment for other people to listen into and give their thoughts and opinions on stuff.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's cool, in my opinion, to be honest, man. Like, I didn't think people would listen to the podcast either.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was just, like I said, and that's why, being honest, like, I don't care about what I say, is because until today, like, my mentality when I walk into the podcast is like, I'm just having a conversation with Ahmed. Like, we're just talking. So it's like a quote unquote, like my private conversations. I can talk in the way that people talk in private conversations, but I'm doing it publicly, which is what I think a lot of people are afraid to do. And I've said this before, but the podcast is a platform for us to go through our ideas and craft them. So it's like, yeah, we say a lot of dumb shit that doesn't add up or make sense, or like you want to fight back on, because we haven't fully thought it out. This is the same conversation that you'd be having with your friend over the phone based off of a feeling. Like, oh, I feel like this and that. Imagine if someone recorded it and put it all out. Well, that's what we're doing with the podcast, except, you know, when you're on the phone with your friend, you can take 2 days, 3 days, think about what they said, and then come out with some more articulate words to more accurately describe your thoughts and feelings. We're just blasting this shit out.
No, yeah.
But I'm down with that.
I like how it's we're able to say a crazy idea, you know what I'm saying? Even if we don't know if we're right or wrong, you know, and then we hear it from someone else's perspective, and then we craft another idea like, okay, I see where you're coming from. Well, maybe let me reiterate it, but in a different kind of way. And some people might be like, oh, you're talking back on your word. It's like, no, I'm becoming a better dude. You know, I'm becoming a better man. Like, if you're stupid if you don't change your ideas, your mentality, after someone has presented you with new information. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the smartest dude. Like, school-wise, what? You know, I'm not smart in that kind of way. I have a lot of ideas and feelings, and I'll express them. And they might be very out there. They might be very like, what the fuck are you talking about? But that's what I want. You know, I want there to be a conversation where I mess up. You know, I want to mess up so that I'm able to learn from my experiences, because I'm not gonna be a better man if I don't.
For real, man. And the other thing too is people expect us a lot of times, I feel like, to come on here and say everything right. Like you were saying, like, why aren't you giving me the space to grow and change and evolve as a person? Like, you guys constantly talking about, you know, healing and growing and growth. And, well, it's like, let us hurt ourselves so that we can heal. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me put all this shit out there so that we can continue to grow. And I need people to combat and challenge our beliefs so that we can grow stronger in them. It's the same thing as faith. You know, you need people to challenge your faith in God so that you can grow a stronger faith in God. You know, and I feel like that's kind of what this podcast does, is like, yo, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to say all the crazy thoughts that are in my head because I need someone to fight back against it. Like, I don't need yes men around me. Like, that's one of the biggest things. Like, I pride myself in is like, my friend group is not yes men.
If I had a yes men group and like I realized I was never having discussions where
they were challenging,
those aren't my friends. You know what I'm saying? The more I've actually got to know myself, the more I'm realizing that I have family, but I don't have friends. So let me explain. So it's like, I feel like friends are people that are kind of like, you know, you see them when you see them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've known them from an experience in your life and you're still cool with them, but you're not on the deepest of levels. You know what I'm saying? It's like surface level, maybe mid surface level, you know what I'm saying? Like almost there. But you guys are still cool. You guys see each other when you see each other. But then there's family. These are the people who I rely on. These are the people who I love. These are people who I adore. People who I talk to because I want to be challenged. You know what I'm saying? And the more that you grow, the more you realize you don't need so many friends. You don't need like that kind of that circle, because with family, they're always going to challenge you to grow, even if it's uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, now I even said it in a song. I was like, got my family, no friends, something. If you ain't check up on me, keep the same weight or something like that. And I love that line because I was like, it's true. Like, if you're not checking up on me, if you're not challenging me to grow in every kind of conversation we have, you're not meant for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's that one for me. It's the challenging to grow.
Yeah.
You know, because we all fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, and whether we like to admit it or not, you know, that's another one of the benefits of being on this podcast. Is like, I want to show people how much of a failure I am. I want them to see how much I fucked up and how much I continue to fuck up, because that's my humanity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm successful as fuck because I failed more than you've tried. And I want you to see all these failures, because it's easy to show you all the shit I won at. That's my whole life is one big come up. I won. I won. So let me show you guys to make this a little bit more human, so that you don't place me on a pedestal. I want you to know that I was there in the streets doing the same shit, you know, doing bubble. I want it to be on the most, so that you can look at me and be like, yo, I could do it too. Right? It's not like you look at me the same way that people look at LeBron James or whatever, and they're just like, oh, different tier of human. They look at, when we talk about the aura of celebrity, you put these people up on a pedestal because you're like, you don't want to associate yourself with them, because that calls into question what you're doing with your own life. I'm like, yo, f that. I'm going to show you how fucked up I am as a person, right? Despite all my successes, so that you have no excuse but to blame yourself and get your shit in order so that you can succeed.
Damn, bro. You know, you hit the nail on the head on that, because it's reminding me of my attempt on social media when I was first like creating content and stuff, to never really show my failures. You know what I'm saying? I would only really post my music, accolades, you know, numbers, whatever it is, and I thought I was the but then internally, when I looked inside, I was like, I don't feel happy with myself. I feel like I'm fake. Like, every time I'm going on social media, I feel like I was being fake all the damn time, on the camera, everything. Like, I didn't feel authentic. And I had to ask myself, I was like, okay, the music, yeah, it's being personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm speaking my truth, but I was like, but who am I really if I'm not talking my in the most humane way possible, which is like my failures. That's why now, like, I'm an advocate of, I'm gonna tell you exactly how I've been feeling, whether it be mentally, whether it be what I'm going through, whatever, to let you know, like, yo, this isn't rainbows and butterflies and dragon tails. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dragon tails, though.
It's not like, oh, I made a song in like 10 minutes, I post it, and oh, I get all these, you know, reception. No, like, this takes months, bro. It takes long hours, long days of me doing other besides even music. That's why I always say it's way more than just the music. It's about leveling up mentally, 100% mentally. And now, like, I'm at a point where I'll post my failures, I'll post what's going on, and I feel like now the reason why I've gotten to such a big, like, I don't even want to say fan base, you know, my family, like, is because I was just being real. I was just being authentic. Like, the truth will always prevail. I don't care what anybody says. That's the reason why, and it's unfortunate to say, that's the reason why 6ix9ine is flopping, because he's fake. You know what I'm saying? He makes great music. You know, don't get me wrong, that man makes bangers, but it's because there's no truth. Like, we see the gimmicks and we see the whatever it is. Like, that's the reason why it's flopping. And that's why, shout out to myself, I hit 10K on TikTok. That's crazy.
Yeah, today or yesterday?
It was yesterday. Yeah, I hit it yesterday, and I was just looking through. I was like, man, there's so many videos that got like 10 views, 20 views, and then you just see over time like the consistency. So like back to what you were saying, it's like I want you to see how consistent I am and how many times I fucked up, because I'm only 21, bro. I'm only 21 and I'm about to win this. I don't know when, but I'm gonna win this because I'm staying consistent.
Staying consistent. This is episode 19, bro.
Like,
This is what's big to me is like, bro, Joe Budden, as we speak right now, is on 3 something. You know
3,000.
Yeah.
Or something like
no, 300 something.
Oh, 300.
Yeah, of his Joe Budden podcast. You know.
Joe Budden. I thought you said Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan's on 1,500.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He's like on 1,000 or something like that.
Yeah, he's on 1,500 or something. We're on 19. So it's like we're just starting, but we're 18 more than. To be honest, bro, I know a lot of people who during quarantine and shit, they started a podcast. I know a lot of them. We are the only one who's still doing it. In fact, I'm being serious. Like, people sometimes they ask, they're like, "You still doing the podcast?" I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, bro, we just released an episode this past Friday. I was like, we released an episode every Friday
at 11 a.m.
And they're like, oh, like that's what they're like. Oh, okay, I didn't know you were still. And I'm like, yeah, we're still doing it. You know, even my friends, like they'll be like, when I'll post a clip or something, they'll be like, "Oh, you guys," and I'm like, "Yeah," you know, and people adore that. People are attracted to that. They can't
like look away.
Yeah,
they have to see.
It's like, dang, you guys, because they know how hard it is. So here's the things: everyone subconsciously knows how hard it is to be consistent, right? So when you can run 2 miles. And you see someone who runs 10 on the regular, and they're like, you know, and you remember when they started off running 2, you're like, damn, like, I know I could have, you know. So then you become drawn into that person, and you idolize them, and you take them as one of your idols and stuff. You know, in the same way with the podcast, like when you talk about, bro, like your music and like how you have to live life to create your music as an artist, as anyone who has an art form or an art expression, which we all technically do, but you as a musician, you have to live your life so that you can create art, or else it's phony, right? Or else it becomes, what do people want? So then I can write to it, as opposed to what is happening in my life. How can I create a release for it through my music, right? It's the exact same thing as like, and like that's why, like, to make your music, you have to not focus on music.
No,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
The biggest thing. Like, I learned so quick, and this is the reason why. Like, it was yesterday when I told myself, I was like, when I hit 10K on TikTok, I'm gonna take a hiatus. Like, I'm just gonna live life. You know what I'm saying? And I even did that on my main social media. I did that on my Finsta because I was like, it's fun to post memes and like literally all my phone is just memes. But I was like, even then I was like, I want to like just really live life and just separate myself from everybody. But it's funny because people think when you're so consistent, like all you do is just like sit in the stew or the lab. You just make, it's like, no, bro, I made one of the best tracks ever when I went up to my friend's crib. I knew I wanted to record. I didn't know what I was going to record. We listened to the first beat. Boom. Like, we just did it. And we're all just bumping, like, it's like so catchy. It's so like vibrant. Like, we love it. And that's how it's supposed to be. If it's ever rushed, if it's ever forced, I don't want to do it. I don't want to put it out because that's not me. You know, like 9 times out of 10, I'm not making music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing homework. I'm doing
I'm doing homework.
Yeah, like I'm doing homework. I'm reading. I'm going
DoorDash.
outside. Yeah.
When you were doing DoorDash.
Like, yeah. I was doing DoorDash.
You were doing DoorDash more than you were writing and stuff.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm living life because that's how you get experiences, and that's how you can like just really talk your shit when it comes out. That's the reason why, bro. Big Sean's Detroit 2.
I heard a lot of good things about it,
bro. That like. If that doesn't at least get nominated for like album of the year, I'm gonna be so disappointed. Like, it was a real. I went like here's how I know it's a really good album. I only went to like track 14. There's like 21 tracks or something like that. But the fact that I went through all of them, and there is one track I was like, nah, it's okay, and I didn't skip. I went through all of it. I was like, bro, this is a good album. This is how I know it. This is like, and it took him, not necessarily, it took him, but he stayed silent. He took the long road. He was like, I'm a figure out myself, learn more about myself, and then speak my truth. And that's the reason why it's like so shout out to Big Sean. That nigga is doing things.
Yeah. You know what, Ahmed, like, it's very similar, you know, you described it in your music. It's very similar to like real estate and business. To be honest with you, I just bought a property yesterday.
Yeah, mashallah. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And a lot of people like always ask me, like constantly, like, questions about real estate, and I'm always down to help. Of course, like, I want everyone to win, right? The thing that I noticed though is a lot of people's questions are about ownership, how they can own property, right? Property ownership. Property ownership is like step 9 of 10. There's step 1. It's like, if you want to own property, first you have to take ownership of yourself. Okay? Like, you have to be accountable for the shit that you do. You have to take ownership for this decision, that decision. Like, property ownership is a manifestation of personal ownership. You know how you go 3 months, you said Big Sean was working for 6 months, whatever. There's properties like this one, for instance, right? And you went in the studio. It's so funny how it's so similar. You went in the studio and immediately like you were like, all right, this is the beat or this is whatever, and we just killed the shit. But before that, you had gone for a minute without like doing, bro. It's the exact same thing. Where I'll be working 4, 5, 6 months, nothing.
No results at all.
Nothing. I'm saying like I'm not even looking at real estate like that. Like I'm doing other shit, bro. I'm fucking gardening. I'm just doing other stuff. But then an opportunity passes by. You know this building, Ahmed? I'll tell you the story. I was just driving to the office. I swear to God. I just took a slightly different route than I normally take. And I just saw at the corner of my eye, it was like, for rent, for sale by owner. I was like, oh. I just pulled over. Yeah, I just pulled over into the thing. I was like, okay, let me see how much he's asking for this building. So I just called the number. The guy, I was talking to him for 2-3 minutes. He was like, hey, look, I'm actually about to show it to someone in about 15 minutes. Can you like hang around? I'll show you the place. I was like, sure. Kept my car parked, just started walking around, looking at it. The other guy who he was showing it to pulled up. You know, he wants to rent out the place. The owner comes. He's showing both of us the place. He's kind of working out a deal with the other guy because the other guy wants to rent out the whole place. You know, I wait for the other dude to leave. I'm like, hey, so like, are you interested in selling it? Like, what's up? I talked to him for about 30 minutes to an hour. Like, we just sit down and we just have this conversation. Not talking about business. He's telling me about his life. You know, this is about 60-some-year-old black dude. You know, he probably owns 70 to 80 properties here in Southside. Like, he knows the game. He was just telling me because he was like, you know, I'll rent it to that dude, but he was like, I'd much rather prefer to sell it to a young black man. So let's see if we can work out a deal. I sat there with him 30 minutes to an hour. Boom.
Finished.
I finished the whole deal. 30 minutes. I structured a deal with this man to buy his property. Now, and here's the kicker. He financed it for me.
Wow.
He sold me his building and then gave me the financing to buy the building from him.
That's fucking crazy.
Right? And this all happened within the span of an hour. Like, of me just driving to the office. I pulled over.
Decided to go to a different route.
Just because I went a slightly different route. I noticed it out the corner of my eye. I pulled over, whatever. That was 6 weeks ago. The only thing that's happened since then is the next day, I gave him the deposit, gave him $1,000 deposit. And then I just been talking to his lawyer to schedule closing. You know, looking over the note, looking over the HUD statement, whatever. There's properties, bro, where it's like I've been working on them for remember I was like took a 6-month break. There's properties where it took me 6 months of negotiating with the owner.
I remember that. I remember you used to tell me, yeah, I have a negotiation this month. No, I got moved. No, I got moved. And
yes.
You keep constantly doing. I think there's a like not even a hidden truth. There's just a truth behind any avenue or field that requires you to have like diligence and consistency. It's similar. This is the reason why I listen to old Drake music or even any old artist,
old Drake.
Because I swear, bro, any artist that I listen to now, that when they made the music, when I first listened to them, it relates so hard. Drake said, I swear sports and music is so synonymous because we want to be them and they want to be us. Like, and it's the truth, because it's like, it's literally, there's Now, obviously, music and real estate are way two different avenues, but it's the fact that there's,
It's not, though.
but it's not. Obviously, in terms of the materialistic,
business is an art form.
Yeah, it's an art form. So it's like the fact that you were so consistent for so many months until something happened, and the fact that even now, like I know mentally, right? I know what I want in my future. I'm not gonna say it out loud because that's between me and God. You know what I'm saying? But like I know what I want in the next year, and it's going to happen. I don't give a what nobody says. I'm focused on what's going to happen because I can be consistent in the matter no matter how long it takes. You know what I'm saying? When I come out, that's when I'll come out, and people will be like, whoa, like this is a different man.
Yeah, man. Like that's all it is. Like, same way people are like, yo, this dude goes in the studio. People think I just sit down with someone and, we strike up a deal. No, that's not how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's actually difficult as to close on a deal. Like, especially if you consider I'm getting seller financing, bro. That's 3 times in a row. The first one took me 6 months because I had never structured a seller financing deal before. I've always used private lenders, traditional lenders through the banks, whatever. That one that took me 6 months, part of the reason is because it was a seller finance deal. I didn't put $1 in. Since then, I've done 3 in a row.
Mashallah.
Well, I haven't used the bank. Nothing. I've gotten the person selling me the building to give me the financing for it. First one took 6 months. The next one the third one didn't even take 60 minutes. But in between, right, that last one, it was over a year ago. When I went to close yesterday, like I was talking to mom in the morning. She was like, yo, Luffy, like I remember a year ago when we were on the back porch and you were telling me you can't go to sleep because you're trying to work out this deal with this person and you can't go to sleep and you're stressed and you don't know what to do and blah, blah, blah. And she was saying like, and now you worked out a similar deal with someone else and you almost forgot to even mention it. I was like, yeah, like, and it's not because like, oh, I'm some fucking genius. Nah, it's because like you were doing with your music, it's because I did it and then I lived my life. Right. And I was doing other stuff, not like it left my mind. Business never leaves mine. Just like I'm sure music never leaves yours. Never. But you have to, what is the quote is like, luck is just preparation and opportunity. Right. So like a lot of people are like, yo, it's, I did it 3 times in a row. It's not luck anymore. I was just prepared. I've been waiting 9 months. Since that one was 9 months ago, we closed the deal. I started that one 15 months ago. I've been preparing for a while. I've been learning, you know what I'm saying? So that when I saw an opportunity, I immediately was able to jump on it. I knew what resources I had available and I was able to structure a deal with someone in the same way that when you hear the beat, you knew it was that one.
Yeah, like I literally like I heard the little wah, 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 like stuff like that. And then there was this background hum that just caught my attention because at first I was just on my phone and then you hear I was like, oh. I was like, no, keep it on loop. We're gonna keep playing it. Yeah. And then it became like something that was so like that became me. Like I feel like for the first time in my life, I'm becoming Ahmed. I'm not only ASK, the image that everybody sees. And that's the thing. Like, so I feel like I was trying to represent something that I wasn't. I was trying to be this thing that I'm not yet. You know what I'm saying? I have to prepare myself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually before I can present anything outside in the world again. You know, and it's like I always reflect back because I don't always reflect back, but I make sure to reflect back at least like once a month and be like, man, you remember those days when I was performing in downtown Richmond like almost every weekend with my homies? You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't really like it took a while for us to get some buzz, and then there was a moment where like we were popping as hell, and we still were popping, and like then we like all decided like, all right, we have to learn this and understand this, and it took years in college, bro. I didn't talk in college for like 2 years. I didn't pop out for like 2 years because I knew I was like, I need to work, I need to get a studio, I need to learn how to do this, da 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 da. But then now. And it's crazy. I was talking to my friend, and he was like, I told him, I was like, I don't even know how people see me at my college, because I was like, I don't want to be wrapped up in that. But he's like, bro, people look at you like you're a superstar. Like look at you like you're such a positive influence and all that shit. And I was like, that's good. I'm glad, because I'm just trying to show a message of like, yo, anybody can do this. Like it's not, not want to say it's not rocket science, but it's not like this esoteric thing that like oh, only people who are talented that were born with it. Nah, I remember when I first wrote my shit, that shit was ass, complete ass. But now it's like, yeah, 100%. But the amount of consistency I just had over the years and the amount of failures I had to have really resulted in me becoming a diligent, persistent, and then a mature man as well. Because it taught me not only music, but the truth in my life.
100, bro. Nail on the head.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you learn. Like I didn't learn until like I put in the work, you know what I'm saying? And I start to look back and I'm like, wow, like I'm glad I got those deals done, just like you're probably glad you went through the experience of making those songs. But I'm like, dang, like I could have structured that a lot better, or I didn't know this and that. And, you know what I'm saying? Like all that small stuff where you're like, damn, I got robbed over here, or you know, this, that, and the third. It's like, all right, it's cool, because like that's what brought me to where I am today. You know, and like you said, like where I am today is I'm in a power position because I don't know how other people look at me. I don't give a fuck how other people look. I'm too busy doing shit to notice how someone else is looking at me. I don't got time to sit here and ask you how it is that you're perceiving. Nah, like who are you for me to be doing all that shit? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like going back to what you said, like you're probably someone I'm friends with, but you ain't my family.
Facts.
My family tells me how they feel about me because they've always done that. I was raised on tough love.
Yeah.
So all my friends give me tough love. You know?
I feel that. That's a good way to end the podcast. We touched upon taxation. We talked upon
we did talk about that for a minute. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's funny. Taxation.
Yeah, it's like start talking about income and wealth tax and liberals and conservatives and charity and shit.
Yeah, and then we talked about I mean, there was something before consistency. I forgot what it was.
Oh. Damn, I don't even remember. Yeah, it was a progression. It was
a progression of it. But regardless, thank you guys for tuning in. We really, really appreciate anybody who listens. Yes. The next episode will definitely
it's gonna be a little different.
Little different. You know what I'm saying?
We're like we said, we're always changing, evolving, and growing as people, but also the podcast. So stay tuned for some new updates.
Yeah. All right. Love y'all. Peace.